Alright, welcome everybody. We'll be in game in just a moment here. I'm excited to get started. Hope you are too. Welcome everybody. This is So Many Robots casting Dota Battles Week 6 Season 1 Game 2 DSD versus Team Murica, or Team USA as I will call them because it's easier to say than Murica every single time. And we can see 343 and Torn Chewy are captains. Looks like first ban coming out for Team USA. So we'll see what they go with. Once again, looking at the hero pool, usually what I look to first in Captain's Draft is supports. Typically the selection of supports is more limited, so they're really the ones who sort of set the tone for the game. But we can see a pretty solid roster going on. We got a Tidehunter Abaddon available, Elder Titan sometimes run as a support, Mirana occasionally run as a support, Nyx Assassin Naga also viable options. Over at Intelligence, we got a Leshrac, Jakiro, Ancient Apparition, Rubik, Disruptor, so I don't think either team's going to be hurting for supports at all lately, and we can see Team USA going with a carry ban, banning out that Doom. 343 replies by banning out the Naga, which I don't remember if it was a DSD game or not, but one of our games in a previous week, I do remember watching a carry Naga and a Tinker combo, which is available in this pool, absolutely choking out the opposing team. And 343 bans out the Nature's Prophet, so really hating on the split push, it looks like to me. And Team USA follows up with a Mirana ban for its second ban, which is not that surprising. Mirana is just a really annoying hero to play against. Much like Pudge, Mirana and Pudge are really unique in that with those big disabling skill shots available, you're always on your guard whenever you've got one of them on the field. And we can see Ancient Apparition comes out for Team USA's first pick. Very strong pick. Probably the most popular hero in the pro scene at the moment. And 343 follows up with a Beastmaster and Elder Titan. So very interesting, both quite tanky heroes. I'd assume that Beastmaster is going to be heading into the mid, probably an offlane Elder Titan, though you occasionally see him getting run as a support. So I'll be curious to see what goes on with both of those. Team USA taking time over its next two. We see a Nyx Assassin coming out, which is another very flexible hero. He can be run mid. He's quite popular as an offlaner in the pro scene these days. So I assume he's going to be going in towards the offlane. But you still see him getting run as a support. Chinese teams in particular are still very fond of running him as a support. Their Western teams at this point almost always run him in the offlane, occasionally in mid. There, looks like Nyx Assassin is not going to be our mid hero because there comes a Night Stalker out for Team USA. Which is not at all surprising really, with the Beastmaster, another melee hero up in mid. I'm not surprised at all to see Torn Chewy reaching for that Night Stalker. Night Stalker tends to struggle in melee versus ranged matchups. He has a lot of trouble getting CS there, usually resorts to last hitting with Void, but against a melee hero like Beastmaster, he should be able to get something, get a little bit of farm up, hopefully get some boots up reasonably quickly, maybe an Urn of Shadows, and go do his ganking thing. Night Stalker is really an interesting hero ever since the night changes, and I think 6, 7, 8 was the patch. His tempo is really very, very different. First night often comes too early. He's really not ready to go ganking, and it's short. So he really has to, during first night for Night Stalker to get very active, he really needs the right sort of openings created for him. And you'll see a lot of teams just farm him up through first night. And instead of using that first night to become a ganking terror, use that first night to really control his lane. And then send him roaming when the second night comes down. And we can see 343 now goes in for his support duo, Jakiro and Leshrac. Both very strong supports, a lot of area control coming out from them, a lot of push coming out with the Liquid Fire and the Diabolic Edict. Liquid Fire is the only ability in the game that can slow down attacks from a tower. Which is very useful in a pushing lineup. A little concerned because the Ice Path is not the best setup for Split Earth, and now we can see Torn Chewy reaching for the Rubik Anti-Mage. I really love the Rubik pick here, and a Faceless Void coming out for DSD, so we're going to see that old classic of Void versus Anti-Mage farm-off. If both teams get their game plans, if the game goes according to plan, rather, we might be in for a 70-minute match here. Listeners, I'm excited. Hopefully you are. Hopefully we'll get some excitement in addition to a 70-minute farm fest. What I was about to say was I really love Team USA's selection of the Rubik here. with the Jakiro and Leshrac both in the match, Split Earth and Ice Path are both amazing stuns that are really hard to land because of their long cast times. Rubik doesn't have to deal with cast time, and so Rubik with Split Earth and Ice Path available to him is a kid in a candy shop. And I really wish I could be Torn Chewy in this match, because that is an enormously fun position to be in, to play a Rubik with access to such great spells to steal. And the rest aren't shabby either. You've got that Elder Titan, Spirit Stomp, not great steals for Rubik. Stomp in particular is very, very hard to use, and without the Natural Order and Echo Stomp to combo up, Spirit's not that great, but Earth Splitter, very nice spell to steal. 6-7 will be able to give up that Time Walk and Chronosphere, and 3-4-3 Rubik can get a hand on Call of the Wild. He can make some good work happen with that Boar. Of course, he loves stealing Primal Roar. With its big cast animation, it's decently easy to steal. So once again, I'm jealous of Torn Chewy. I love playing Rubik. With Leshrac and Jakiro both available to steal from, I really wish I could be in his shoes. But a quick pause coming out. Teams are working on some voice chat issues. So we'll just take a moment, examine some of the cosmetics. Might as well. Avalor on that Nyx Assassin. You can see you got the Alpha Predator set and some pincers of the Chosen Larva. Very snazzy Nyx Assassin that he's got. And I'm curious about the lanes. Last game, if I remember right, Frack ran the off-lane Windrunner. Now he's on the Animage, so we're definitely seeing Team USA switching up their roles a little bit. Steep Hill was on the safe lane Tiny, if I remember right, and Notavirus was on the mid lane Meepo. So we're actually going to see Notavirus now taking up that support Ancient Apparition. It looks like Avalor going into the offlane, so I wonder that might just be the sort of rotation that you see whenever you get a strong Meepo player on the field. It's very rare that your Meepo player is the same as your mid player or your hard carry player. You'll see Fnatic being the most famous team who run it. You know, one of their supports is their Meepo player, so they typically, when they run the Meepo, they switch all their roles around. Let's go over the lineups real quick. We can see Shin Jumper once again in the off lane, taking that Elder Titan down. 3-4-3 taking that Beastmaster in towards mid. Bear on our Jakiro. 6-7 going to be farming up that Void in the safe lane. And Dux, who once again is the sickest on that Leshrac. Meanwhile, we've got Avalor taking that off-lane Nyx Assassin. Steep Hill bringing the Nightstalker in towards the mid lane. Frack on the hard-farming Animage, backed up by the support duo of Notavirus EXE and Torn Chewy on Ancient Apparition and Rubik, respectively. For those who caught my odd comment about Dux, he asked for the sickest intro, so I gave him the sickest intro. Seriously, I think the dude's got problems. Should talk to him, should go to a doctor. Alright, there's the starting bell. We can see once again, we got DSD. Okay, DSD's courier bringing out some tangos for Bear. Nothing exciting. Get a ping out from Notavirus on this double damage rune. Very standard ward on both sides, really. We see this ward covering the jungle. Doesn't quite extend to the rune spot, but gives some very nice jungle vision. And I'm not certain if it blocks up that camp or not. We'll have to see. It does not. Avalor is going to have a tough time with these very big stuns. This is an explosive lane if he gets caught out and eats one of these stuns. Meanwhile, Shin Jumper, oh my god, I almost missed first blood. Whew! Shin Jumper eating an enormous amount of damage from Frack with that level 1 blink. I see Telekinesis is on cooldown. Cold Feet is not, but that may just mean that I missed it. That might have been a Telekinesis Cold Feet combo, which is a very nice combo for proccing the Cold Feet, because you can lift him back towards within the range, and there we see they're doing it again. Telekinesis Cold Feet, Shin Jumper, it's lifted back, freezes up. That's going to be our first blood coming out for the Animage. Animage can't ask for anything better than that. Very nice start off to his farm. Down here, Avalor, meanwhile, is soaking up XP quite nicely. Over in the mid lane, we can see Steep Hill versus 3-4-3. No huge edge either way, just yet. Shin Jumper really going to struggle in this bottom lane, I think. I mean, who am I kidding? He already is. It's just a very dangerous duo to be up against. Ancient Apparition plus anybody basically makes for a fearsome tri-lane. And he didn't ward up the pole camp, so he's going to be losing out XP on these creep waves too. Ooh, that's a nice courier. I like fancy couriers, but we see a ping coming out on top. Ice Path just barely catches Avalor, but Dux isn't in position to follow up with the Split Earth. So Avalor is just going to waddle away the way Nyx Assassin does. Steep Hill getting pushed back behind his tower. We can see one thing that I'm always really interested to find is looking at a Beastmaster skill build. We've got Call of the Wild up at 2 and Axes at 1. So you can see a lot of Beastmasters like to go Inner Beast early. That attack speed aura can push out the lane quite a lot, which makes it easier for them to control runes without necessarily having to burn their mana to do it. Meanwhile, over on Steep Hill, we can see he's gone 2 points in Void, 1 point up in Hunter in the Night. Which is a very interesting choice. Oh, switching over to top lane, Avalor very far out of position, eats an Ice Path. Split Earth lands, a lot of damage coming out. Diabolic Edict gets popped. Avalor gets a 3-man stun off, but is it going to be enough? He walks away through the camp. Going to be running away. Dux is going to have Split Earth ready. Ice Path just barely catches him. Dux going to land. Oh, the Split Earth. Big whiff on that Split Earth. I think Avalor is going to be able to make it away on that one. 3 seconds, and he's got another Spike Carapace above, but 343 comes in, catches the runes. Spike Carapace comes up. Steep Hill runs in. Ice Path, Split Earth immediately land on Avalor. Take a lot of damage. Going to go down to 343 over there, but that was a lot of time wasted for the Radiant. A lot of time. I didn't see exactly when 6-7 ran back and got back to his farm, but he lost out on some serious CS going in for that big chase. We can see over on bottom lane right now, it looks like Faceless Void and Animage are just about even. 18 and 6 for Void, 15 and 8 for Animage, but of course Animage got that first blood gold. So we'll see. Gonna have a farm fest coming out from both those heroes. Dibear's moving in towards mid. Looks like he wants to get aggressive on Steep Hill, but it's only himself. Doesn't have another support in. He's smoked up. 343 is going to blow axes on the creep wave, so I don't think they're going to be able to make anything happen here. 343 is a little low on mana until he starts to bottle up. Smoke purchased by Ancient Apparition. So we'll see how that goes. Avalor, meanwhile, just playing a little shenanigans. Somebody stacked this pole camp, which you often see that when Radiant's running an aggressive tri-lane, they'll use this pole camp. I don't know if the stack was even intentional or not. I wasn't paying enough attention to the supports down here. It's possible that DSD stacked it just to make it a little easier to deny off waves. Try to keep this Nyx Assassin out of XP. Looking over at the levels, we can see both offlaners doing about the same. Level 3 on Auto Titan and Nyx Assassin both. Actually, levels are dead even across the board everywhere. Both mid heroes are 5, both safe lane carries are 4, and all the supports and all the offlaners are 3. There's the power treads coming out from Void. So we're going to go for a slightly slower build, not directly rushing up at Battle Fury. What you'll see a lot, especially on Animage, is brown boots into Battle Fury, and Frack actually is going a step further, no boots. He's just got a Ring of Health. He's going to try to get that Battle Fury up very fast, and we can see Not a Virus and Torn Chewy smoking up, moving in towards mid. Which could be dangerous. 343's got his Hawk out. They can see it just fine, but it can't see them. It doesn't have any way of seeing through the smoke. But 343 is playing very defensive all the same. He definitely feels something coming, even if he can't see through that smoke. And Avalor, stuck down in the river. His positioning is a little bit iffy here. Whiffs on an Impale. Gonna have to spend his last clarity recovering from that. And Torn Chewy and Not a Virus just gonna head back towards the bottom lane after their smoke fails. 343 didn't expose himself for them to get that gank off. And both teams have a free farming hard carry. Animage clearly going for that Battle Fury. I'm curious if we're going to see 6-7 going for the same. He's at 600 gold.
Bottom towers get
hasn't betrayed his next item to us just yet. Going over to the mid heroes, we got a Bracer up on 343. No gold spent by Steep Hill, so he's at 1350. With that much money in the bank, I almost wonder if he's going to go for a Hand of Midas, maybe. I see a ping coming out on the double damage rune. 343 pops the haste rune, sprinting for it. But there's going to be a lot of defense coming in. Is he going to get it? He's going to try. Yeah, with that haste rune, he's not going to be subject to the cold feet proc at all. Nicely done by 343, taking that rune off again. Steep Hill didn't go for a bottle this game, so denying off the runes isn't hugely important. and he just goes in for the phase boots. No hand to Midas for him. There's a lot of discussion really about whether what are the best boots on Night Stalker, phase or treads. Advantage to phase boots obviously is it makes him a much better chaser, but going over to bottom river looks like we're going to have some action. Bear and Ducks, I don't know if they both got smoked up or if Ducks... I'm not certain if they were both smoked and Ducks got revealed or if just Bear was the only one in the smoke, but this is 4 heroes converging on bottom lane to try to do something about Frack. Roar comes out immediately. Split Earth Ice Path, that's an enormous amount of disable coming out for that Animage, and that's one thing that was very dangerous about the Animage pick here, is that there are a lot of stunners up on DSD's team. They've got the Roar, Split Earth, Ice Path, and Titan Stomp, and all of that is great for holding the Animage in place. The Ice Path, the Roar, and the Stomp are all great setups for a big Split Earth. An Animage can always blink away, but if you can chain stun him like they did right there, it's not going to be able to do anything. And over on top lane, you can see 6-7 getting forced back by Avalor. So without those supports, he really doesn't have what it takes to sustain here. Beastmaster picks up some Arcane Boots. You can see the Radiant Tier 1 jungle tower goes down to that 4-hero rotation. While 6-7 is just farming away up on top, 1400 gold in the bank. He finished up a poor man's shield, which is a little bit interesting given how easy his lane has been generally. Going back to bottom lane, Bear, it's spotted out by Notavirus. Ice Path comes out, catches Torn Chewy, eating a lot of damage over there. Split Earth off the mark, DSD chasing him down, blows him up with the Wild Axes. That's going to be the Rubik going down. The Shrek expends the Diabolic Edict, pushes out that creep wave a little bit. Are they going to keep going with the Rubik down, or are they just going to back off? Looks like they're going to head out of town. See Arcane Boots up for the Nyx Assassin, which is not at all surprising. Offlane Nyx, that's the go-to boot. Gives him the mana to roam. He's got his 6, but he's not roaming yet.
Tower ain't a pretty sight right
we'll
now.
See Torn Chewy scouting out this jungle, gonna run right into 3-4-3 here. He's got the Roar. Is he gonna use it? Yes, he is. Blows the Roar. Wild Axe, Ice Path comes down. Torn Chewy goes down again. That's 2 deaths in rapid succession. That's really gonna give him a sad, sad day, sitting at just 100 gold. Wards and Brown Boots now. 3-4-3 is going to lead his team over, heading towards Steep Hill, who gets wind of the gank and heads off to the side, gets away. Mask of Madness, first item, coming out for 6-7, so we're not going to see that Battle Fury after all. Mask of Madness, also not a bad farming item, gives him the lifesteal he needs to farm up jungle. But really going for a very different style between this Void and Anti-Mage. Anti-Mage is just sitting on 900 gold, farming away up on bottom lane. We got an engagement in mid. Steep Hill gets the Void off on Shin Jumper. Ice Path catches out Notavirus. Torn Chewy lifts up 3-4-3. Avalor blows up the Outer Titan with a Vendetta. A lot of damage coming out on 3-4-3. Turns around to throw the axes and gets brought down. So that's 2 kills for Team Murica. Chilling Touch doing a lot of work in that fight. 6-7 TP's in, trying to get what he can. He does have Chronosphere, eats a Void from Steep Hill. Not going to spend it. Looks like he does not judge his team to have enough backup. One thing that I want to point out is that another classic combo present in DSD's lineup here is the Faceless Void Jakiro. If you can lay down a Chronosphere and a Macropyre at the same time, that's an enormous amount of damage that'll come out from that. And the Chronosphere also works as a great setup for Out of Titan's Earth Splitter. But of course, we don't have level 6 up on either Outer Titan or Jakiro yet, so we're going to have to wait a little bit. That's the combo we want to see coming out over here.
Illusion.
Not a whole lot of action. Both teams kind of fencing around the rune. Notavirus and Torn Chewy guarding it for their Night Stalker to pick up. Arcane Boots are up on Shin Jumper, which I hadn't noticed last time I looked. Oh, Avalor stalking 6-7, walks into tower range, doesn't get the Vendetta hit off, just pops the Impale, catches him out, but it's not going to be enough. Let's take a look at 6-7's build. We can see 3 points up in Time Lock and nothing in Backtrack. So Backtrack is that infuriating skill, makes it so hard if we don't face this Void. But wait, we're going to see Aurora up onto Notavirus. Wild Axe comes out, nice lift on 3-4-3. That's Notavirus, get away. Faces Void, pops Chronosphere, blows up Torn Chewy. Tons of damage come out. Earth Splitter comes in. Steep Hill gets slammed by the Earth Splitter. 6-7, going to bring down that AA and then going to lose his life to the tower, taking bonus damage. thanks to that Mask of Madness. But still, that's a 3-for-1 in favor of DSD. I think they'll take that trade, even with the loss of the Void.
Radiant's mid tower's getting the what
3 heroes in a tower is nothing to shake your finger at. They're going to keep going.
Radiant's mid
See if they can get this tier 2. The Shrek pops Diabolic Edict. A lot of damage coming out. Jakira's got Liquid Fire, but not using it. I guess he's more concerned about the heroes who are going to be coming in. Avalor walks in, fakes the stun, doesn't get it. Telekinesis comes out. Impale onto 343, taking a ton of damage here, and he's going to go down. Cold Feet procs, and that's the end of the Beastmaster. Just stayed a little bit too long over there in the mid lane. We can see Steephill, it's nighttime now. He's going hunting. Wants to chase down Daiba here. Doesn't have any points up in Silence, but Max Void, Max Hunter of the Night. Ice Bath comes out, Split Earth, Steephill dodges both of them. Going to keep chasing onto this Jakiro. But gets stomped by the Outer Titan. Lots of damage coming out from Diabolic Edict. Finishes off the Jakiro with a Void. And now he's going to be running alongside Dux. Gets the Invis Rune, but eats Split Earth from Dux, who doesn't have any vision. And Steephill is going to chase. He's going to keep chasing back in. See a TP in from the Beastmaster, and that's going to be Steephill's cue to back off. He doesn't want to go in on 3 heroes into the tower. That would be a bit suicidal, even in the middle of his nighttime. Let's check in on our hard carries. So we can see Frack got his Battle Fury up. I am deeply ashamed that I did not check the exact timing, but that's a 13-minute Battle Fury for him, which is quite respectable by any standards. So he's really going to accelerate his gold very, very quickly. 1600 gold up on 6-7, who hasn't picked out his item, but wait, let's go over to top lane where Avalor stalking 343. Vendetta hits, Impale, a lot of damage coming out. Steephill, they blow up that Beastmaster easily, but 6-7, Time walks in, pops the Chronosphere, goes to work on Steephill, brings him down. Earth Splitter snaps Avalor, Shin Jumper shows up to help out, and that's 2 heroes for 1. Very nicely done by 6-7. Taking a bad situation and turning it to their favor. And now we can see Mithril Hammer and Gloves of Haste coming out. So he's going for the attack speed build. Mask of Madness straight into Maelstrom. Not going to opt for that Battle Fury here. So I'm excited. We're going to see a very different playstyle coming out from both Frack and 6-7 on the Animage and the Faceless Void, respectively. Animage going for a much more farm-oriented build. Faceless Void wants to fight early and often with that attack speed build. So this is a great game to watch, very exciting. We're going to switch over to net worth on our chart up at the top left, because really that's what we're watching. Faceless Void actually doing significantly better than Animage. He's 3-1 compared to Animage's 1-1. So that's probably where part of that difference is coming, since Animate does have the edge on him in CS. But now we're going to see, looks like an engagement in the mid. Avalor's Vendetta up, chasing in, going to catch out 343. Jakiro's waiting on the top, going to throw down the Ice Path. The Ancient Apparition throws in his ult. 343 is going to go down very, very quickly though, and there's no follow-up for that. DSD was simply not prepared. Diebear actually takes a lot of damage. I don't think he was very close to the Shatter Time. Yeah, because that's just a level 1 Ice Blast. So he wasn't very concerned about that at all. Well, catching my breath for a moment, listeners, we can see ping coming out from Avalor onto 6-7. They know he's there. Impale is going to come out very, very easily. Oh, and nicely done by Frack. Blinking and slamming, pops that Mana Void off on the Faceless Void. And another nice synergy with these lineups. Wait, hold that thought. Steephill's diving down. Outer Titan Stomp comes out, catches 2. Earth Splitter drops. Diabolic Edict. Ice Path whiffs. Doesn't catch anybody. Earth Splitter also off the mark. Nice 2-man Impale comes out from Avalor. Ice Blast catches 2. Very big. 343 goes down immediately. Split Earth was on the mark, but too far off the back. Diebear gets a 2-man Ice Path. Another Stomp coming down. Are they going to be able to disengage? No, they're not. That Diabolic Edict wakes Steephill up immediately, blows up the Jakiro, and they're not done. They keep on chasing. Ice Vortex. Steephill's chilling touched up. Gets the Void on Dux, and that's going to be the end of our Leshrac. 6-7, TP's in on the Void. Oh, but he's standing in place. He's going to get cold feeted there, I think. Yeah, cold feet procs as soon as he goes into the Chronosphere. That's going to be the... Oh, just barely manages. Time walks over into the trees. Nicely done by him. Shin Jumper looks like he's going to be able to... Is he going to be able to finish off Steephill after all? Actually, he doesn't have any mana. Steephill pops the Darkness so he can run away faster. I think he's gonna make it. Yeah, this Outer Titan's not gonna have mana for his Spirit, so a very narrow escape for Steephill there on the Night Stalker. We're not used to solo casting, listeners. Getting some very dry throat talking over all of these fights. Exciting game so far. 10 and 12 on the board, 22 kills in only 16 minutes. Normally don't expect nearly this much action coming out from an Anti-Mage versus Faceless Void game. You can see just a little banter between the teams. Nightstalker, GG, Volvo, pathing. I think there might have been a pathing fail there going on. Let's check in on our hard carries once again. 2,000 gold up on Frack, and he did take that tier 1 tower, I believe. I'm not certain. Yes, he did. He got that last hit on the tower during that previous engagement. Void's got his Maelstrom, farming up the jungle. Curious to see what item he goes for next. I'd really expect to see a BKB coming out from him. There's a lot of disables here to try to control him up. There's Frax purchased up a Yasha, so it is going to be a second item Mantis style for him. Very classic Anti-Mage build.
That bottom tower.
Very standard action coming out of him over here, and we can see DSD grouping up on the bottom lane. Looks like they're going to use that smoke in 343's inventory, getting up to the high ground. Yeah, they're not visible to Radiant here, and a 4-man smoke coming out, including 6-7 on the Faceless Void. Yes, he does have Chronosphere at the ready. Bear on the Jakiro is going to be the only one not smoked up, and he's going to lag behind a little bit, let his team take the lead. Popping that Spirit reveals their presence. Torn Chewy, going to eat the Split Earth. Diabolic Edict comes out, roar onto the Rubik, immediately blows him up. 6-7, time lock Steep Hill under his own tower, Ice Path off the mark, Chronosphere just for Steep Hill. 6-7 taking a lot of damage from the tower, Ancient Apparition, Ice Blast coming in, didn't see who it caught. Avalor, Invis runs in.
Radiant's mid tower.
Anti-Mage comes in, pops the Man of Void onto Faceless Void, catching that kill, but it's going to be a 3-for-1. They did pick off the hard carry, was the Anti-Mage who got the kill, so that's some consolation. They're really just not holding up well against these ganks coming out from DSD. These 4- and 3-man death squads are really doing a lot of work, and let's see, got an Earth Splitter stolen by Rubik. So that's a very big steal. Hopefully he's going to be able to make some good use out of it. Immediately going to pop it. Telekinesis 343, who gets snapped by the Earth Splitter. Cold Feet of Jakira on the backside. Meanwhile, Ice Paths, Macropyre in, Frack taking a lot of damage. Ducks roaming around, getting up, doing a ton of tower damage. Elder Titan Rubik steals Stomp, but he's immediately going to get split earthed up. Lots of splitting an earth on this. Elder Titan Spirit finishes him off. Now they're chasing down the Ancient Apparition. Is he going to be able to get away? Ice Path coming out from Bear. Oh, nicely done by Notavirus, dodging it. But meanwhile, Frack's going to come in, going to clean up the Leshrac with the help of Nyx Assassin and Steep Hill on the Nightstalker, going to get the kill on the Jakiro as well. So I don't actually know what our final tally was there. That was kind of a protracted engagement. But what is certainly true is that was a lot of kills in favor of our Anti-Mage. Frack is now up to 5-1 compared to 6-7's 4-3, level 15 over level 12. And really leading quite strongly on that net worth chart. Hood of Defiance coming out for Elder Titan. So I'd assume that's going to be a pipe. Leshrac builds the Mechanism, which is a little bit interesting. Normally with this sort of support duo, you'd probably see the Jakiro going for the mech. He's a little less mana hungry, and Leshrac is one of those heroes who is always at any point in time capable of converting all of his mana into damage. We can see he's going for 4-4-0 so far, and another smoke coming out from DSD. I'm really loving all of these smokes. Steep Hill's got an Invis rune, but he's not close enough to spot them out. This 4-man smoke heading in towards bottom lane, and Frack feels it. He knows they're coming for him. He's been hiding in the trees for a long time already, just waiting for his TP to come off cooldown. So it looks like that smoke's gonna be to no avail, but I'm really loving the aggression out of 3-4-3. As I said in game 1, in the 3 to 4k bracket, you actually smokes are a thing that you don't necessarily see a ton of use happening. And I'm a huge fan of all of the smokes coming out from DSD, and the fact that they've really made excellent use of them. This is, in fact, even this one's gonna turn, no, nicely done by Avalor. Blinks away, immediately pops Vendetta. As soon as he saw 6-7 coming in for what was probably going to be a Chronosphere. And also props to 6-7 for holding his Chrono there. A lot of Voids would have been tempted to sort of pop it early, try to catch that Nyx Assassin. But the Blink Vendetta made that impossible, and he wisely held on to it. Didn't blow that valuable cooldown. He's just going to go back to farming. Take his time. get another item up. He's at 1600 gold. I'm curious to see what he's going to go for. Has a sentry ward, oddly enough. Doesn't have a TP. Meanwhile, Frack, looks like Frack has his mana style. So now that Animage is really going to be able to dial up the split push. Put a lot of pressure on, and he's already going to set up, going to work on Dire's top tier 1 tower, and I think he's going to... Alright, Lift comes out. They might try to defend it. No TPs are coming in, and then Lift's just going to buy them a little bit more time. Meanwhile, Steep Hill draws some attention from Direbear and Dux, but it's not going to be enough. 3-4-3 pops yet another smoke. Just the Beastmaster and the Boar smoked up this time. They're going to go in towards mid. Looks like they're going to find Torn Chewy. Doesn't have a spell stolen. Yep, there we go. Roar onto Rubik. Wild Axis comes out. Very easy ice path. Faceless Void comes in just to take the last hit. But meanwhile, Frack is taking their top tier 1, doing a lot of damage to their top tier 2. Jakiro comes out to try to get him. Oh, nicely done by Avalor. Very nice blink initiation coming out from him. That's going to be a kill and a tier 2 coming out for Team USA. And now, yeah, looks like Frack and Avalor are both going to get out of dodge as the entirety of Team DSD starts moving towards them through this jungle. Avalor is just going to TP home, and Frack's going to blink himself back to safety. So very nicely done by Avalor, picking off that Jakiro the moment he TP'd in. And we can see Staff of Wizardry out on him, which I'd assume is going to be a Force Staff, maybe a Yule. Steep Hill, meanwhile, feeling very, very aggressive. We can see he's holding on to Darkness, which is a little bit interesting. Used to be very common. Oh, and we can see, he's going to start to initiate, but immediately going to think better of it. 3-4-3, chasing him through the trees, 17 seconds to roar, so he doesn't have the disable that he needs to let his team catch up. And there's the Mjolnir coming out for Faceless Void. Very aggressive items coming out for him. Really going for a sort of glass cannon build here, which has largely been working out for him so far. His team have tanky enough heroes that they've been able to set up the entire roster in front of him to sort of soak up that damage. And really nicely done in general by DSD orchestrating these team fights. Void has gone down several times, probably mostly to that Mask of Madness. But they're doing a great job of initiating, letting the fight develop, and then sort of he comes in over the top and gets the Chronosphere. So we'll have to see if he can put this Mjolnir to work, doing more of the same. Torn Chewy, meanwhile, looks like he's going to be going for a drum, actually. Yeah, I think that's going to be a drum coming out for the Rubik, which is an interesting choice. Looks like nobody else on the team is going to be building a drum. We have a Yule's on the Ancient Apparition, which is great for getting off those cold feet procs. Yep, there's that Force Staff for Nyx Assassin. Continuing to review the items, I'm not certain when exactly Steep Hill got this Basher and Helm of the Dominator up. But it looks like with an Ogre Club and a Bout to Strength, looks like he's going Necronomicon, actually, which is a very interesting item choice. You don't often see it on a Night Stalker. Frack just hiding in the trees over here while Direbear tries to push him away. Frack's already got his Reaver up, so he's going to have a heart very soon, and we can see with that Battle Fury build. Hold on to that. Looks like they're going to start getting aggressive on Direbear. Ancient Apparition ult comes in, doesn't hit anything. Frack's just going to blink back while Avalor is wandering around in Vendetta. So that's what I was saying, with that Battle Fury build coming out on Frack, his farm has really just skyrocketed, already at 15k net worth to Void's 10k. And 6-7 with this more fighting-oriented build is really getting left in the dust. Avalor going to pop the Vendetta on Direbear on our Jakiro, and then immediately blink away after he whiffs on the Impale. Doesn't catch the Jakiro, but actually catches the Elder Titan. Meanwhile, Animage takes down this top tier 1. Yules comes out on Elder Titan. He's probably going to get trapped by the Cold Feet. Ancient Apparition ult doesn't catch anybody as he goes down very quickly to that Faceless Void. The Mjolnir and the Mask of Madness, his attack speed is just enormous. 0.58 seconds per attack already on just a level 14 Void. At this point in the game, that attack speed is incredibly terrifying. Now we can see DSD going to take that mid tier 2. Going to keep going. 12 seconds to another Diabolic Edict. Gonna do a lot of damage to this tower. 6-7 gonna jump past, gonna bring
Somebody's
down
on
that
a roll.
Rubik very
Dire
easily.
just couldn't say
Standing
you
a little
have
bit too far out of
firepower.
position.
Radiant
Anti-Mage,
structures
meanwhile,
must have been
takes
fortified.
the tier 2 bottom tower. Dire, oh, very nicely done. Not a virus, throws in the Ancient Apparition Ult, blows up the Beastmaster. Steep Hill runs in, Void's up on Dibear. Earthsplitter comes in, chaotic fight. Faceless Void finally drops the Chronosphere, doing a lot of damage to Avalor, but Cold Feet procs. Here's where he wishes he had that BKB. Frack blows the Mana Void, but it's a little early. Still enough to clean up the Faceless Void. Shin Jumper starts to TP. Oh, nicely done by Rubik with the stolen Chronosphere. Keeps Shin Jumper in place,
6 in a
breaks the
row.
teleport. And very nicely done on his part. That's 3 for nothing, and they hold the tower. That's very nicely played by Team USA there. Generally, when you see a Faceless Void and a Rubik in the same game, what you're really looking for is hilarious fails, as Rubik steals Chronosphere, proceeds to blow it while Void is still alive, and gives Void a free Chronosphere to clean up his team. But that time, he saved it until after the Void was done, blew it at the last second to prevent the port out from the Outer Titan. And now Frack's got his heart up. He can really dial the split push up to 11 here. Gonna be able to do a lot of damage. Wild Axis comes out, but it's not. You can see it did so little damage to those illusions with that heart up on them. 2,400 hit points on Frack. And it's really just a sort of differing approach. He's got a lot of team fight, but
Dire's
he has,
mid-towers having
Team USA has the split push thanks to that Anti-Mage that DSD isn't bringing. And now we see all 10 heroes grouping up in the mid. Avalor blinks in, whiffs the stun, gets caught out by the Split Earth, roll around to Frack. Ice Bath catches 2, very nicely done. Jakiro throws down the Macropyre, Ancient Apparition Ult comes in, catches at least 2. 6-7 goes to work. Beastmaster gets blown up by the Mana Void, Steep Hill getting chased out, so that's a 1-for-1 so far, both mid players dropping, and it looks like that's going to be as much as we're going to see. So DSD holds their mid tower, 1-for-1 trade, pretty even for both sides, but DSD does hold their tower, so I'm going to give them a slight edge over in that, and Frack just goes back to farming. But he's going to have to go home soon, and he doesn't have a TP currently. And we can see DSD is continuing to push, just barreling right down mid. Even though they don't have their Beastmaster, he does have Boots of Travel, so they're probably counting on him to join them as soon as he respawns in 5 seconds. Frack pops the illusions, goes to work on Duck. Split Earth, sorry, Diabolic Edict already took the tower down. Nice Ice Blast comes in, catches the Jakiro. Stolen Ice Path up on the Rubik. Doesn't catch anybody. Beastmaster TP's in. Night Stalker still not respawned yet. And they're going to keep going, going to spawn up that boar. Impale comes in, catches out the Void, Ice Path from Rubik, Ice Path from Jakiro, Macropyre comes down, catches out Frack, gets Force Staffed out of it, nicely done by his team. Earth Splitter catches Frack, but doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Rubik lifts 3-4-3, but gets roared. So much hate for Torn Shuri this game. Nightstalker comes in, silences up the Beastmaster. Frack, big Mana Void, kills the Beastmaster, does a ton of damage to the Outer Titan. Dibear gets polished off by the Nyx Assassin's Mana Boon. There's 3 heroes dead. They did lose the tower. They did lose the Rubik,
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a
but a
pretty
great
sight
engage
right
from
now.
Team USA, and they're really just so hard to fight up against with the counter initiation power
Trouble
of
brewing at
Rubik with those
Radiant's
stolen
bottom
spells,
tower.
Nyx Assassin lining up the multi-hero impales, and Frack is so tanky
Dire's
with that
mid
heart and
tower
with
could
max
use a
spell
little
shield.
help.
He's so hard to bring down.
Radiant's bottom
They're
tower
going to get the tier 2 this time. Bit of a mistake from Not a Virus, popping the
Hope
Chilling
the
Touch
Dire
on them,
weren't partial
which
to
actually
that
doesn't,
mid-tower.
because it does magic damage,
Trouble
it doesn't
brewing
do
at
extra
Radiant's
damage
bottom
against
tower.
towers. It just manages to slow their attack speed down, and now we can see Team
Dire's
USA
mid-tower
going in
won't
for
last much
Roshan.
longer.
Force Staff coming out for the Jakiro on DSD. I can see a ping coming out from Dibear. I think they know about this Roshan attempt. 343's Hawk is gonna scout it out. Avalor's wandering around the side. Got Vendetta Pop. Dibear gonna catch Not a Virus, but Frack gonna go to work. Roar comes out on Frack immediately. 343 standing in the middle, eats the Vendetta damage. Huge Macropyre comes down. Elder Titan throws in the Spirit, but they've already lost one. Do they have enough to hold off this Roshan attempt? Both teams just kind of fencing with each other around the pit. Ducks already blew the Edict. Frack's gonna go take a creep
Dire's
wave.
mid-tower won't last much
We
longer.
can see Ancient Apparition
Radiant's
throws his
top
ult over
tower is
towards
taking
top,
hits.
and Nyx is gonna TP away, so it looks like they're gonna give up on that Rosh. Content with just forcing out the kill on the Beastmaster. And Frack's gonna set up shop in the enemy jungle. Let's take a second to look at Vision. Not a lot of wards out on this map. We can see DSD's got some decent vision of the river, but only an Ancient Ward. Meanwhile, re-engage Frack, jumps in, blows up the Leshrac. Ice Path and Stomp come out but don't catch anybody. Very nicely done by him. Steep Hill silences up Shin Jumper, but he's too far away. And now they're going to push this wave in towards the tower. Frack wants blood. He's got his basher up. He's ready to fight. He's done farming. And at 2100 gold, 8k up on the Void. He's gotten to work on a butterfly, but isn't there yet. This Animage is very, very big and very, very scary. And now we can see Team USA goes back in for the Roshan now that they've got that lane pushed out. Torn Chewy, meanwhile, gets caught out in the mid lane. Eats another roar, goes down very quickly. But it looks like, did he buy enough time? I think he did. Looks like Frack's going to be able to get this Aegis. Avalor scouting them out on the high ground. Frack takes the Aegis and walks away. Nicely done. Oh, we have a DC coming out. Pause out from Torn Chewy because it looks like our Ancient Apparition, not a Virus EXE, has DC'd. So we're going to need a moment to re-engage off of that. There's no Titan Spirit out on Animage, but he still has Blink. He should be fine. Avalor's already popped Vendetta, so he should be out in just a moment's time. Well, I can say, viewers, I am happy for the chance to catch my breath a little bit. Looks like we got our Ancient Apparition back, but no, our Rubik's AFK. So, just a little bit of a wait. We can take advantage of this pause to glance at the item progression. Heaven's Halberd up on the Nightstalker. I didn't see that at all. That's a huge pickup, especially against a Faceless Void who does not have BKB. You can get that disarm off on him while he's in the middle of the Chronosphere and waste an enormous amount of his time. Mechanism up on Ancient Apparition, so not necessarily going straight into that Ags. Ghost Scepter up on Nyx. No other really big item pickups coming out. We're going to get back into games, so let's watch. Frack is just going to blink to safety while his illusions, meanwhile, do some damage out on Shin Jumper. Let's get back to the item progression while we've got a brief moment. 343 looks like he's got an energy booster. Not certain what that's going to be. It might just be a casual energy booster while he decides what item to farm up next. Plate Mail up on the Elder Titan, so surprisingly not finishing up that Hood of Defiance into a pipe. Pipe very, very strong against Ancient Apparition with all his magic damage. But not necessarily, I mean, the Animage is who they're really concerned about, so it's the physical damage and that mana burn that they're really concerned with. Splitter comes out, we can see DSD having so much trouble just dealing with these illusions. The tower's already down to about 2/3 health just from the illusions. Frack never even got close to it in person. He's up to 2300 gold. A solid, not 10k, 9k advantage over that Faceless Void. Sucking farm out of this dire jungle. Faceless Void 6-7 is already left with nowhere to farm. And momentum has really shifted in favor of Team USA. They did lose that tier 3 mid tower, but right now they're feeling in total control of the map, keeping all the lanes permanently pushed out, and they're just using the power of that Animage, split pushing to their heart's content, and he's blinking in and taking team fights at the right times. 4,000 gold up on him as well, so he's going to be getting ready for his next item very, very soon. I'm curious what it's going to be. It could be an Abyssal Blade, finishing up that Skull Basher. It could also be the Butterfly. Just a very standard pickup. He doesn't have an item slot right now, but wait, over on mid lane we can see a Roar comes out on Avalor. Oh, nicely done. Tornchewy steals the Roar, roars up 6-7. Gets blown up without Animage even being present. Beastmaster goes down as well. Frack goes to work on Dux, cleans him up very easily. Steep Hill, Silence and Void up on Shin Jumper. Frack blinks ahead, picks off the Courier, Mana Voids the Outer Titan, and that's going to be a tier 3 set of racks. And Glyph comes out, 6-7, buys back, comes back in immediately. Oh, there's the dieback coming out for the Faceless Void. That might be GG, losing that Faceless Void for another 70 seconds, blowing that buyback. They're going to lose at least a pair of racks here. And I wouldn't be surprised
The
if Team
Dyer's
USA
mid-rags.
switches over
It's gone.
and takes one of the
Dyer's
other
mid-rags is
lanes
getting
as well.
swamped. Dyer's mid-rags ain't around no more.
And there we see Frack going to work on that top
Dyer's
tower.
top tower's getting beat down.
Just bulldozing it down. Still has 3 minutes up on that Aegis, so he's not going to be afraid of anything at all. It's going to be a double raxing, and there we go. 3-4-3 calls the GG. Well played. Victory to Team America. Very nicely done. An excellent performance by Frack on that hard farming Animage. 13-minute Battle Fury, and really just out-farmed 6-7 on the Faceless Void here, who went for more of a fighting build, less of an AFK farmer going on there. And Frack, just, I mean, look at that net worth. By the end of the game, he had 14k up, more than doubling up that Faceless Void, and had all the items he needed in the world. 784 GPM on that Animage. That is crazy good farm. 311 last hits. Just an extremely nice performance from Frack, and a great performance by the rest of his team too, holding on, buying him time to get those items up, which was a very close thing. We did see DSD got very close. They exposed the racks in mid lane, but weren't able to seal the deal. Got held off twice in a row in very climactic base defense team fights. And that really was what turned the game. Team USA able to hold the line, keep DSD out, buy Frack just enough time to really tip over that point where Animage becomes an unstoppable force. And that was our game. So thank you very much for joining us, dear listeners. I will bid you good night and adieu. I'm off to go get some dinner myself. Thank you for all for tuning in. This has been Dota Battles, Week 6, Season 1, Game 2 of DSD versus Team Murica. I am so many robots, usually joined by my buddy Vic in the co-caster seat, but I think he's off celebrating St. Paddy's tonight, so I'm on my own this evening. Once again, thank you all for tuning in, and have a good